Hi, I'm Tiffany.
I'm Rihanna, and welcome to Fresh Off the Broke.
Fresh Off the Broke is about personal experiences growing up Asian American in a predominantly white community, Asian media, and Asian pop culture in general. Race has always been a sensitive topic. Every day there are debates over race. With our podcast, we intend to shed light on the experiences of first generation Asian immigrants, not put them on a pedestal.
We understand that race isn't everything, but there should be an acknowledgement of people of color, the knowledge gap, and the racial divide that will ideally be broken. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the episode. Today we're going to be discussing friend dynamics, Asian versus non Asian.
Why does it sound like a competition?
Should be. Wait, no,
It
it
is
shouldn't.
right now. Comment down below which one's better. So, Rihanna, what are you betting on?
Well, it's kind of obvious what I'm gonna bet on.
Okay, fine. Get that out of the way. Okay. Uh, I don't know. I feel like in our friend groups or even in our daily social interactions as a whole, people can be afraid to ask or talk to us about certain things, especially stuff that revolves around being Asian.
Yeah, it's like people are always scared to like ask like where are you from or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's so
I remember
unnecessarily awkward.
it really is because sometimes people they already imply they think it's racist. Like they'll be like, "Oh, Tiffany, not to be racist, but where are you from?"
It's like, why is that racist, bro?
I mean, they're coming from I guess you could say they're coming from a kind place because
Yeah,
they know that as non-Asians, I feel like this usually happens with like white people. They don't want to come off as being ignorant
yeah.
to the point where like maybe they're scared.
But then also like the flip side of that could be like they're scared or like they just associate people of color with like the typical what's the word SJW, I guess, of like
Oh yeah.
because I get that a lot, honestly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I say or if I post something on my story that's like just hinting towards people being racist and like acknowledging that, people will be like, yo, why are you getting all political here? It's like,
Yeah.
why are you asking me that?
Luckily, no one has ever. Yeah, no one has directly messaged me about it. So that's good. But I, I don't know. I can sense that I get a certain reaction when someone sees something. They just don't say anything. Uh, like sometimes in class, like if the teacher wants to talk about the news or something, and then say like I don't usually bring up really political topics, but
Yeah.
if I were to, then you see like the glances around the room. They're like, oh, Asian person talking about like Asian issues. Like
Yeah.
not allowed to tell her to stop because we're not Asian.
I was gonna say was like, remember there was that post on I forget the account, but it was like white people denying their sense of privilege by saying, I'm not white, I'm insert European country here. Yeah, and I
Oh
posted
yeah.
that whole rant, and a friend of mine replied to it and was like, no, what I mean is like, I'm not saying I'm white, I'm Italian. And it's like, girl, that's the whole point of what I just posted.
The thing is, I don't want to say that they're not allowed to be offended, but I feel like because you're not directly calling out anyone. I mean, I guess in certain people's opinions, you might be stating a really strong opinion,
Yeah.
and they're I mean, if you state a strong opinion, you're gonna get a reaction, but it's like
They
it's
almost feel like they have
not.
to stand up against to it.
Yeah, I know, because you're not saying like, oh, you guys are stupid, haha, or whatever it is, and even all opinions like off the table, it is a fact
Yeah.
geographically and also like I guess biologically that's the truth.
Yeah. Like literally, wait, let's search this up. Define white.
Ooh, we're researching. I like that.
Um, belonging or denoting a human group having light-colored skin, chiefly used of peoples of European extraction.
Yeah, exactly.
Keyword, you know, European.
What's the keyword?
Let's see, wait. European country.
What is Europe?
Let me see if Italy's there. Oh, look, it's the second one that comes up. Anyways. Yeah. I just feel like people are always like, "Oh no, I'm not white. I'm from like this wait, is Spain is European, is it not?"
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like spicy white. That's what people say.
Yeah, and the thing is, yeah, I don't have anything to add to that.
Spicy.
And then, I mean, there is a bright side to this topic because sometimes there'll be people that are genuinely curious and they ask things respectfully or because they actually want to learn and be informed or educated about certain things
Yeah.
because they know that they'll never get the authentic experience of being like an Asian person. And so if they're asking their Asian friend or Asian peer about their experience and actually taking time to listen, that's really nice. Like I remember one time in music class, in vocal music, we were doing master classes for our culminating solos, and our guest instructor was an Asian person, and then my friend who's Chinese, she made a joke about how like, oh, of course that our guest instructor was Asian, and then this our classmate, he's white. He wasn't offended. He was just curious. He was asking us why she said that or like why we agreed on that. And I explained to him like, oh, it's because it's really common for Asian people, especially Asian Americans, to learn like how to draw or how to dance or how to play an instrument. And I initially thought that the conversation was just going to end there. I thought it was just like, oh, a question and then an answer. But then they were genuinely curious. They were asking like, oh, does that have something to do with the culture? Is that like an expectation or something that you're pressured to do, or does that come from like an appreciation for the arts? And I was like, oh, I kind of like where this is going.
We stand a woke king.
Sorry.
You even know who this is? Or do I?
You do know I'll explain this to you later.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people we like rather have conversations like that rather than people being afraid to ask.
Yeah, I have no problem with that, and I guess I can't control the way people are intimidated by these certain conversations, but I try to make it so that people aren't afraid to talk to me about being Asian. Like sometimes I try to bring up being Asian so people know that like I won't be mad if you bring it up.
Yeah. Yeah, same with me. Like I'll always make like a joke or two that yeah, to some people who are Asian maybe it is offensive, but like people need to know that you aren't the scary SJW person of color that will like come kill you in your sleep if you make a joke. Like
yeah, stab you with my chopstick.
Apparently I give off that vibe, which is just sad to think about. But
yeah,
like I understand.
I don't know. I don't know if it's because I know you, but the thing is, even if I look at it from an outsider's perspective, I don't see you as I don't see you as an intimidating person. Like if I were to think back to before like when I first met you.
Oh my god, we don't want to think about that.
When I first met you, I didn't think you were intimidating. I was just like, oh, it's another Asian person. But I don't know if that's because I was looking for another Asian person because there weren't any Asian people in my school. Yeah. Like that might have been the light that I was.
I think no,
seeing
but I
you
think
later.
that's like so important to like talk about because like thinking about the first time we did meet, like being in that class of like basically just white people. Well, we were kind of lucky because there's a lot of Asian girls in that class, but it was
Yeah.
good that like notice how the first thing like well for me that was like the first thing I noticed about people were like oh my god that's an Asian girl. I can talk to her because like in this environment like that's the closest thing I have to comfort, you know?
Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah.
I know, like I literally remember like seeing you and seeing like the other Asian girls in our class and being like, "Oh my god, like thank God. I'm like there's people that I can approach
Yeah.
that like have some sort of like you already know you have something in common with that person just by looking,
Yeah.
which is yeah, generalizing, but at the same time it's like it was
It's
comforting
like
to
the
know.
positive version of racial profiling.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Oh yeah, Rihanna, I remember one time you were talking to me about age gap and how that affects the friend dynamic.
Oh yeah, so like upperclassmen and
Mhm.
younger students, I guess.
Mhm.
Even in school setting or like friend setting, if there's a like a year or more than a year age gap, I feel like there's always some sort of acknowledgement within Asian friend group dynamics
Yeah.
versus Western dynamics. Like I have a group of friends, well, used to, I guess. Wow.
Oh.
But like our like friend group was I was the youngest, and then the oldest is like 3 years older than me. She was my ate, which is what you would call an older girl sibling. But
Okay,
there was
yeah.
always that like that sort of feeling of oh she's older and I like respect her more. And yeah, we were still friends in a way that's like the same way that me and you are friends.
Mhm.
But like there was always that like oh she's older. I have to acknowledge that and like she I don't know. It's just it's different here because it's
Yeah,
like
it really.
she's in like second year uni right now,
Mhm.
and how would I like me going to like a party in high school and meeting someone second year uni and being like I can't imagine myself being friends with someone like that
Yeah.
and like just being normal friends.
Yeah, I get that. And then like if you're actually growing up in Asia, like sometimes when I go out and I see like Asian friend groups that are clearly like bombed or stuff like that, like you'll hear them like refer to each other as like oh like insert term for like older guy
Yeah.
or like, even if it's as a joke, like if they're making fun of like the youngest one, they'll like maybe say like oh like insert term for like younger girl or like younger guy or
Yeah.
like younger whatever, and then they I don't know like they're comfortable with it because that's how they grow up. But I feel like us here, because I don't know, I feel like you and I like sometimes when we have conversations like at school,
Yeah.
we almost eliminate or just like ignore that. Like, I mean, I'm only a few months older than you, but
Yeah.
if we were having a conversation or if we were hanging out in Asia, then we would probably be more likely to joke around like those people that I saw.
Yeah.
But then if we do it at school, some people might be like, "Oh, is Tiffany like trying to say that she's superior to Rihanna?"
Yeah. Or not even
That's
just
kind of
that. It would
stuck
just be
up.
like that's weird.
Yeah,
Like
and then the whole thing where like the way Asian people see other people's parents versus the way
yeah.
like non-Asian people see other people's parents.
Yeah.
Like when I meet, especially like other white people I know, their parents, they'll be like, "Oh, you can call me by my first name," and I'm like, "Oh, I."
I am not comfortable with that, but
But
thank
the
you.
thing is, I end up doing it because if I recall them by their like myth, whatever, they'll be
Yeah.
like that. They'll be like, "Oh, like you're making me feel old," and then I'll be like, "Oh no."
It's like it's hard to get people to understand that it's like I'm not saying that to make you feel old. I'm just saying that because that's how I was raised and that's how I'm taught to show respect.
Yeah.
But here it's like, I'm your mom too. Like, everything's cool, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
Oh my god, and the way people talk back to their parents.
bro.
Like, I don't know if that's like a friend dynamic thing, but I mean, I guess this is, because we're talking about age gap, this is just like an age dynamic thing. I feel
Yeah.
like for us, when we talk to our parents, if we were to get into, I don't want to say a fight, but like say we get into a debate about something, you're less likely to voice very strong emotional opinions just
Yep.
casually, or like
Yep.
say things where it's like, oh, I hate you, or like whatever, so lightly. But then with non-Asian kids, or like it's not always non-Asian kids. Some, like, I know this one Asian girl one time when she was on the phone with her mom, she told her mom to shut up.
Oh.
And the entire friend group was like, oh my god.
Why would you do that? Bro.
Yeah, it was so weird because we were hanging out because it was someone's birthday, and then she was calling her parents to pick her up. And when she was explaining to her mom the situation, her mom picked up the phone. Her mom was talking over her, or maybe like asking too many questions, so like she felt overwhelmed or something. But she was like, no, mom, shut up. And we were like,
Oh my gosh.
But then like, with maybe like it's not always white kids, but it's just because we grew up in a predominantly white community. Those are my examples. Sometimes I'll hear a classmate be like, "Oh my god, my mom's so annoying." Like last night we were talking about like insert something really small, and then they'll say like how they were like yelling at their mom or whatever, and I'll be like, "How did you? What?
Why was that even an argument?"
Yeah, exactly. Like my mom made me do the dishes, and I said no, and I called her stupid. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, boy, like, come on now. That reminds me, last night when I was filming for, so like, I guess I have to explain it. I have to film myself for my dance studio.
Mm-hmm.
I was filming it, and I asked my mom to just play the music for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I have to be in front of the camera in a position already. And like I was like, "Mom, can you not watch? Because when she watches me, it makes me feel very self-conscious, which is what's new." But like I told her not to watch me, and she was getting mad at that. And then I pressed record and I got her yelling at me on video. And now I have blackmail material. Oh my gosh.
Funny. But it's just like going back to what I said about the whole talking back thing. Like, I guess the definition of talking back is different when you're Asian, because talking back is just literally responding.
Literally. It's like there's a whole argument over nothing.
Yeah. Except in a different way, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, if like our parents, I guess they could get mad at us over nothing, and then we'll be like, okay, I'm sorry, and like we have to like do the whole respectful, good Asian child thing. Yeah. But then if we were talking about like a white person, it would be like an argument over nothing, except like the kid started it and the parents are confused.
Yeah.
Instead of the other way around.
Even like just listening to like I was on FaceTime with a friend of mine and she was talking to her mom and she was getting mad at her mom for not being able to drive her to Dollarama. I was just awkwardly sitting on one end like, oh my gosh. And then at some point her mom goes, "Can your friend hear how like what did she say? Like how bratty you're being to me?" And then she goes, "Yeah, she can. She can hear how mean you're being to me too." And I'm like, oh my god, why am I here?
This is not a safe environment.
Yeah. Like, bro.
Yeah.
But then again, like at the end of the day, if I ever have kids, which do I want kids? Okay,
that's for a different episode.
Yeah. at the end of the day, I'm not gonna raise my kids like the Western way.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. What's obvious?
It's obvious that I'm not gonna raise them like super harsh, but I'm not gonna be like, your friends can call me by my first name, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Just
It's all just like, I guess, what you're comfortable with.
yeah.
And then I don't know, like I agree with you. I wouldn't want to raise my kids like just one way or the other. And then
Mix.
yeah, like I guess the quote unquote Western thing that I would incorporate would be that I wouldn't expect my kids to be a doctor, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's like kind of like the only thing. And then I wouldn't murder my kids over getting an A minus.
Yeah. Or like threaten my kids to do well in school, or like threaten my kids to be good, or like anyways.
Anyway, that's for a different episode.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more of that.
For more, oh god.
Yeah. And then, let's see. Yeah, kind of it. And then I guess another thing that I want to talk about is, because we were talking about how, like, growing up in predominantly white communities, being like the only white kid in a group. Like, we already talked about this in racism, but I just mean like in specific situations. I'm just thinking of a personal experience right now. But
Yeah.
one time I was at a birthday party at a sushi restaurant, and I didn't notice it when we were talking about it in the group chat. But when we got there, I realized that I was the only Asian person. I was the only Asian girl. Like it was all girls, but and then when you're eating sushi, you use chopsticks, right?
I use my fork, but
Oh well, valid.
validate me.
And yeah, because you needed that. And then they were kind of helpless, and they were like asking me for help on like how to use chopsticks, because I was the only Asian person, so I was the only one that grew up eating chopsticks. And then they either didn't have any experience, or they only used it occasionally when they went out for I don't want to say like Asian food, because I know like not all Asian cultures use chopsticks, but like when they went out to Asian restaurants where you would use chopsticks. That makes sense. It's not a Chinese restaurant or something. And I wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't a thing where they were singling me out and making me uncomfortable. It was just something I noticed. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you evaluate a situation, or like you just notice something and you're like, oh, so this is what's happening right now. Like, oh, I'm the only Asian person in a friendship like party setting, and I'm like teaching them how to use chopsticks. It's like, oh, like I guess this is what's happening right now. It's not
like that's it's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing, it's just like a thing that happens. But like what is like a issue is when you become like the token Asian friend,
Oh yeah,
like the special one because they have a cultural background. Like I don't know. I know a lot of people that not a lot of people. I know a person that she's very in her friend group, her old friend group. It was always awkward for her because she was always known as like, oh, she's the Asian one of the friend group. And it's like, in a situation like that, you don't want to be the Asian one. You want to be a friend in the friend group.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you always give people like, oh, they're the funny one, they're the sulky one, they're the one that's always mad, and then we have the Asian one. It's like that doesn't fit in with the categories.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's not
a personality trait.
Oh.
Being Asian isn't a personality trait. Change my mind. It kind of is.
Hashtag. there's a small tangent that I want to go on with that. Have you ever had an experience where you're in like maybe a friend setting or just like a setting with like I guess a friendly or what seems like a friendly situation, and then someone that's not Asian or just like not your specific race,
Yeah.
they make a joke or like a comment that's actually offensive, but then they think it's okay because they're friends with you or like because you're Asian. You know what I'm talking about?
Yup, all the time. So like, just because you're friends with the, it's like it's okay. It's definitely not this, but it's this to like the mildest degree. Like being friends with a black kid and being like, oh, I can
I
say
knew
yeah.
you were gonna say that.
Well, what other like known example is there? But like I know for like sometimes my friends in middle school would be like they'd say something like, "Oh, haha, you eat dog," or whatever, like something dumb, and it's like they'll be like, "Oh, why are you so pressed?" It's like you're my friend or whatever. And it's like, no, you're just being racist.
Yeah, there
like
really
that
is a
doesn't give you an excuse.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that happens more than I can even count.
Yeah, it
But I
really
can't
does.
think of like an example right now.
I
It's
guess.
always those like tiny, what do you call them? Microaggressions.
Oh my god, micro-racism.
English class be like.
My god.
But like it's true, and then okay, this is definitely going off tangent, but like my favorite is when teachers are like, so can you give any examples of microaggressions? And people don't want to say anything, but as soon as one person says one thing, everyone just goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my IAPS class, my teacher asked that, and there's only 8 people in my IAPS class. And
What?
he was like, he gave
Are
an
you guys like an
example.
extra class?
Oh yeah, we were like, so basically there were too many people. They deemed it too many people over capacity in all the other classes, so they took people out, but they only took out 8 people in total from every class, which is dumb. But anyways, his microaggression was like, or his stereotype was he goes, people of a certain race or a certain background can't drive. And I was like,
Oh my
Asian
god.
people? Because I was the only Asian girl. And he goes, yes, yes. But it's like, well, at least he tried to be subtle about it.
Yeah. And then what happened afterwards? Did he like imply anything, or was that just
No,
a game?
he didn't. It was more of like a, I guess he was trying to give one, and that was the one that came into mind. And I guess because there was one Asian girl that like speaks up about racism in that class, he didn't want to say it, so I said it for him. I mean, I'm fine with that. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad thing of me to do, but I think it's hilarious putting people in awkward situations like that. And obviously, I apologize afterwards, but it's like it's funny to corner someone just to make them aware of what they were about to say.
In a way, it is helpful. Like it depends on the person. Like some people are more self-aware, so if you were to say something like that to them, they'll laugh, but in their head they'll be like, "Oh, maybe like I shouldn't have said that."
Yeah.
Like, it creates a little alert in their head.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna go off on a tangent about like making a joke and then actually having more impact.
Go ahead.
Oh my god! But it's so off topic. Okay.
Is it? Let me hear it.
Well, okay. It was like within my friend group, and then so there was this like situation where I was calling someone because we were at the same place at the same time, and I was trying to get them to like see me, my friends, and I was like, one of my friends, she's half white, half colored, I guess.
What?
but they're white passing. Like she's white. She looks white, right?
Yeah.
So like
Is it
I
because you don't
was
know what they really are? Is that why you're
yeah.
saying it like that? Oh, okay, I get it. I thought you were just like afraid of mentioning the race.
Well, no, kind of. I just don't wanna, you know. But like
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
this person was like waving at the person I was calling, and so I was telling my friend on the phone, "It's the white girl's waving at you. There's a white girl waving at you. Like that's where I am." Because she looks white, right? But
Mhm.
then like when I went to go talk to my friend, it turns out that that girl turned to my other friends and was like, "I guess I'm just the white girl now." And I was like, "Oh, I mean, I didn't mean it like that." It was so awkward, bro. But then again, it's like I'm not okay. This is gonna sound very bad because I just told that whole story and now I'm gonna say this, but it's like people need to know that white passing is a privilege in itself.
It really is. Yeah.
Like you could be half white, half I don't know, something like if you're light skinned but you look white,
Mhm.
you get that you have that like you're considered normal in a society because you look
Yeah.
white. But then
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, you're cool because you're mixed."
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
Especially now because like with like the whole coronavirus thing, how like Asian people get attacked.
yep.
Like especially East Asian people because like the China virus.
Yeah.
Like
Nice. Mr. Trump
uh
said that.
if you're like Asian, you're like halfway half. Not that you don't know what that is. I'm just putting that out there. Halfway half Asian, and you're white passing. You're probably not gonna get attacked like
Yeah.
ever. But then someone like me, who looks fully Chinese, because I am fully Chinese,
Yeah.
people are gonna look at me different, or like they might say something that well, not might. They're going to say something to me because it has happened.
Yeah.
They'll say
Literally.
something to me, or they'll walk away from me. Like my aunt, when she was on her way home and she was getting off the bus, this one white lady started freaking out and like moving away from her. And then my aunt heard like the ruckus and turned around. Like she didn't know that white lady was talking to her because the white lady was just like, when people make like, I don't want to say noise, but like when people are panicking and like they
Yeah.
kind of make a sound or something. So my aunt turned around and looked because she just wanted to know what was happening. Like, is there like a medical issue or something?
Yeah.
And then when she turned around, the white lady was like, "No, no, 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 get away from me! Like,
My God.
don't come near me! Like, go back!" Like she was telling her, like, go back to China, and like, she was freaking out, freaking out. And
Did your aunt cough on her?
no,
Dang.
my aunt needed to get off like the bus because that was her stop.
Damn. I would have. Oh my gosh. I would have fist fought her. There would have been another 6 Buzz video. Fight. Literal fight.
But yeah, and like going back to what you said, like if my aunt looked white, then that lady wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Even if my aunt was wearing a mask, I think my aunt was wearing a mask. That probably added to her panic.
Yeah, but like then again, if it was
There
like
are
a blonde chick wearing a mask, I doubt there would even be that type of panic because it's like
yeah, exactly. I have seen people. I remember before school was canceled, I saw like white people wearing masks, and no
yeah.
one said anything. But then like this one white lady saw me wearing a mask, and then she like made like a huge scene out of it, and she's like, that don't do anything, blah 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 blah, and like trying to shame me.
It's like girl.
She
You have
wouldn't have
anything else
done
to
that if
say?
I was like her fellow white friend.
Yeah. Or if she did do that, it would be more of like a, hey, just to let you know, just like, just so you know, like, be careful
Yeah,
because those don't do anything instead of a,
yeah,
those
exactly.
don't do anything, right?
I don't know.
Damn, we really went off topic.
I mean, it's not really off topic. It's still on the same topic with like the whole
Being
token
treated.
Asian thing and just like the whole perception behind just like being
Yeah,
Asian in a white society. And there's lots of opinions that people are gonna have about you, you know?
yeah,
Like if we were to go back to the eating thing, like how I said that not every Asian person eats with chopsticks. Like there's cultures that eat with their hands, and then a lot of white people think that's disgusting. I don't. Do you not eat burgers with your hands?
yeah, I know. Or like fries, or like, what else? Like,
What
finger
do they?
food?
There's a reason why it's called finger food. Like
Yeah.
I don't. What do they envision when they think of an Asian person eating with their hands?
Okay, I have a theory.
Oh,
This is going to be
I'm
very
interested.
generalized, and I already apologized if I offend, like, anyone. But, like,
If
generally,
anyone watches,
the people, like, the cultures that do use their hands aren't they considered more, like, third world countries?
yeah, I guess I like. I think I know like which countries you're talking about.
Asian countries.
No,
So
no.
let's see.
Oh, you're looking it up. That's okay.
Um, I need a list. I don't want to read through. Okay. Um, oh, wow. That didn't help. Wait, I thought the Philippines was Philippines third. What is that
You're trying
considered?
to check it. Are you trying to check if the Philippines is a low-income country?
Yeah. Oh, developing. Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah. Because my friend, when she went to like a Filipino restaurant for the first, she's Chinese, by the way. So it's like she
Mm.
wasn't phased or anything. She was just talking about how she went to this restaurant and she was like, oh my god, the food was so good, and like we got to eat with our hands, blah blah blah. She was like, it like she was having a good time. Like this isn't
Yeah.
a negative example. I was just that's just how you should proceed.
Yeah. Like
And
instead of being
they
like,
got
oh,
gloves too because
it's
they were eating
cute.
seafood.
Yeah. Oh, that's so smart. What was I gonna say?
Gloves,
Um,
yeah.
bro. That like I like grew up using my hands.
Yeah,
Like
there's certain foods you eat with your hands.
even like in I didn't realize that like this was a Filipino thing, but like we do this thing where we hold the spoon in our right hand and the fork in our left hand, and we use the like fork to push rice onto the spoon.
Oh, so that's like how some people when they eat like noodle soup, they have like a spoon and then the
And the
chopsticks, and then they
chopsticks,
use
yeah,
the chopsticks to grab the noodles and then put it in the spoon, right?
yeah. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I thought like I didn't know that that was a thing that people didn't do here because I was like, well, how else do you eat rice with a spoon and fork? But like my mom was like, yeah, no, like who else is eating rice besides us, which is true. But like it's just so weird to me because it's like, why are you grossed out? I just don't get it.
And then another thing, oh, this is on topic, like with the whole food thing, but I don't understand when there's people that make fun of Asians, but then they love eating food from us. You know what I mean? Like
Or
they'll be
like
like,
make
"Oh,
fun
ah,
of
ha,
Asian
ha.
people.
Chinese people eat dog," and then they turn around and start eating dumplings.
Yeah. No, it's like, well, for me, that makes the least sense, but like, it's kind of like how people make fun of Asians or are racist to Asians and then go and watch Naruto and like, or like listen to K-pop or whatever. And it's like, boy, what? But for that, I kind of understand because it's like maybe they're like, oh, I like the culture, so I can make fun of it because I don't mean it really. You know?
Oh, with that, this also ties in with the joke thing that we were saying, but it
Yeah.
really depends on your audience. Like
Yeah.
something that I can say to you, I can't or shouldn't say to a different Asian person.
Yeah.
Like when you were saying the whole like being friends with a black person and thinking you can say the N word. Like
Yeah.
if your friend gives you that pass, that doesn't mean the entire community gives you that pass.
Yeah.
Like if we were to let a non-Asian friend of ours make an offensive Asian joke,
Or like say
they
chink
shouldn't
or
use
something.
that with someone else
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everyone has like their boundaries or what they're comfortable with, and it's like just respect.
Yeah. People just don't get that.
I just dropped something. Oh, good.
Also, I have a quick topic to
Yeah.
ask. Do you think people who aren't Asian should be able to say chink?
No.
Well, I mean, okay, I phrased that wrong. Is it like one of those police?
The police are already coming. They
Bro,
agree with me.
why is there so many?
Brianna, they heard you.
Bro. Okay, what was I gonna say? Like, I mean, like, is it one of those words that you can be like, he called you not to be mean, but he called you this, like be able to say it, or should it be like a forbidden word? Or is it, I mean, is it? Because I have the experience of like with a friend, she was like, "Oh, he called you the C word." And I was like, "What? Like cunt?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
I think the reason I it's just because there's like a whole double standard, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
for example, I shouldn't and I wouldn't call a black person the N word,
Yeah.
but if they called me a chink, like it's the same implications. And when people say like how like you know how there's a whole debate about how like oh if I'm not allowed to say the N word then why are you allowed to call me a cracker? Because you know like there's history behind the N word, right? There's history behind the word chink. Like it was on propaganda,
Yeah,
like
like
back in the day when like Asian people, you know, with like the rat illustrations and everything. Like there's historical implications and the word. Like the thing is chink, it depends on what you're saying. Because like chink it means like a small gap, right? Like
yeah.
if I let me just look up the dictionary definition so we can be professional. Oh, this is actually kind of funny. Chink is an English language ethnic slur, usually referring to a person of Chinese. My answer's right there, I guess. But yeah, like it's supposed. Yeah, the definition of chink is a small cleft, slit, or fissure. But the thing is, it became something else. Like
Yeah.
they used it as a racist term, like, and so it is a racist term. You know what I mean? Like how the N word, like they wasn't it like the simplified version of when. Like I remember this is what I learned. They were saying how like back then they would call black people Negro, and
Yeah.
then somehow that evolved to the N word.
I heard that it was like, well, maybe actually I'm not really clear, but I saw something saying like the N word was like black people called each other that, but then like slavery times like white people used it as a derogatory term. Like, I'm not sure, honestly.
Let's do some research.
I'm I'm not educated.
I want to be culturally sensitive.
Yeah.
The history. Because I also remember seeing a video made by this black girl. She was saying, wait, hold on. Okay, this is. Should I use Wikipedia or should I not use Wikipedia? Should I?
Oh.
Okay, let me just look at the N-word in history and today. This is an article by the odysseyonline.com. Loading. Okay, this article is about the N-word and its historical and present day use. Let me see if this was written by a white person or not. You just have to double, like, you know. Yeah, it was not written by a white person. Okay, thank you. I don't know why if I think so. Okay, let me see. This was written October 31st, 2016, published through the North Carolina Central University. Okay. I'm not gonna read the whole thing because it is an article. But oh, this is an opinion piece. This isn't actually like history. Okay, I'm just gonna go back to that. Yeah. Okay, the first thing that pops up, it says that in the English language, this is from Wikipedia, in the English language, the N-word is an ethnic slur typically directed at Black people, especially Black Americans. The word originated in the 18th century as an adaptation of the Spanish Negro, a descendant of the Latin adjective. I don't know how I'm supposed to read this, but it's spelled Niger, which means black. And it was used derogatorily, and then by the mid 20th century, loading, sorry. By the mid 20th century, particularly in the United States, its usage by non-African Americans became unambiguously pejorative, a racist insult. Accordingly, it began to disappear from general popular culture. Its inclusion in classic works of literature has sparked modern controversy. Because the term is considered extremely offensive, it is often referred to by the euphemism the N-word. However, it remains in use, particularly as the variant. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Particularly as the variant and then Nigga by African Americans among themselves. In dialects of English, including Standard British English, that has non-rhotic speech, the two like variations of the N-word are pronounced the same. That's what it says here. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's our little context information session. And then going back to what you were saying about like the C word.
Oh, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I just wanted to make sure that we're being like correct with the information. Yeah. I don't like when I watch something, like not even when I watch them, but sometimes you're having a conversation and then like this is me personally because I'm Chinese, a non-Chinese person saying something about China is actually not true and they probably saw on some like sketchy website.
Yeah.
Like when someone said that China didn't have trees or bees, and I got not even offended. That's just can't be possible. But that's not how ecology works. If you don't have trees, you don't have air.
People are
That's
so...
the bottom line. Okay, I'm gonna hand it back to you.
I don't know what to say. How did we get here? Oh, I know how we got here. How much do we have recorded?
I don't
We
see
have
a
an
time.
hour.
No, but that's from the beginning of our call.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Our call is 3 hours.
Yeah, that's from when I first called you like hours ago.
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean,
that's not how much you've been
like,
recording.
we recorded an hour.
Okay. You know what? Let's just finish the conversation naturally and then cut.
Okay.
Because if we try to like shrink it, then it's gonna start sounding weird.
Yeah. How do we end it?
How do we end this? Okay, we were talking about like the C word.
Oh yeah, I posed that question.
What's a good like that could have been like the last topic.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously everyone's gonna have a different opinion about the C word thing, but I think it's like, I don't think it's definitely not as serious as the N word. Definitely not. But like, I don't know. I just found it interesting that people like refuse to say it. I just didn't know like what it was. But
When you
yeah.
say what it was, you mean like when they referred to it as the C word?
Well, that and like I didn't know its severity.
Yeah.
I
mean,
still don't, but like
I guess it's kind of like the homophobic F word, because that also has like a history behind it. Like they're all things that you shouldn't that you shouldn't say. Like maybe you could say that like the severity is different.
Yeah.
But the importance is the same all across the board. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's friendship dynamics, Asian versus not Asian.
So leave comments down below which one won. So
no. If you stayed until the end, comment down below.
Comment down below. I hate Asian dynamics.
Also feel free to share your own stories if you have any. We'll read them.
Favorite racist comments.
Oh my god.
I want to read that.
I'm actually curious.
Yeah.
We grew up. Because we're in like. Since we're in Toronto, that's like one of the most multicultural cities.
Yeah. But then again.
Sorry?
But then again.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah.
That you might have about what we were talking about today, with like friendship dynamics or maybe jokes that you think went a little too far.
Or maybe even like the most racist thing someone's ever told you.
That would be really interesting to read, to be honest.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
So if you want to find out more about us, you can be found on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, all under Fresh Off the Broke. Follow us for more behind-the-scenes content, announcements, and other random things we decide to put on there.
Okay, see you next time.
Bye.